Hello everybody, this is PhazeonPhoenix, and we're gonna start a new game here, Rimworld. Rimworld. What is Rimworld? Well, it's got a lot of similarities to Oxygen Not Included. I've mentioned that before in that series. As you can see here, a story generator by Tynan Sylvester. That is actually kind of the best description of this game. At its core, it's a base builder, as well as a bit of a survival, and I've also heard some people describe it even a little bit towards tower defense, but not, maybe. The thing is that the characters are very rich and deep, because it's all randomly generated, and there's lots of different possibilities, so, and in this one, it's kind of the not too distant future idea where you're dealing with a planet on the outer rim of the current space civilization, space galactic, whatever you want to call it. So it's not very well populated. It's kind of, there's no real government or anything like that. So it's definitely a survival game. So we'll just go ahead and get started right away. There's several different predefined scenarios that kind of determine what you start with and how difficult the game will be. This is kind of the classic experience, as it says. Crash Landed is the name of it. There's also Lost Tribe, The Rich Explorer, which is a single person and a bunch of stuff. And then there's Naked Brutality. This is rather new. You start with one person. That's it. Nothing. Except for some technology. But anyway, we're going to do it with Crash Landed because this is easier to go with. Not quite as hard as any of the other ones. Oh, actually, Lost Tribe isn't bad at all. Things just take a little while because you don't start out with as much things researched as you do with Crash Landed. So the three of you awake in your cryptosleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown rim world. Your faction will be a new arrivals. It just basically means you're not tribes people. You start with 3 people chosen from 8, and you start with 800 silver, some packaged survival meals, some medicine, some basic equipment, some starting wood and steel. And the map is scattered with some more stuff out there as well. I can further edit this scenario and change some things around, but I'm not going to. You also start with a random pet, I think. Yeah, random pet times 1. Hopefully, I'll get a dog or something similar. They're actually useful. AI Storyteller. Now, this is one of the differences between the game Oxygen Not Included and this one. Oxygen Not Included doesn't really have any game events that will not do anything to your duplicants, whereas this one does. And these events and stuff are determined by these 3 storytellers. There's Cassandra Classic, there's Phoebe Chillax, and then there's Randy Random. The difference is how they choose what to attack you with. Randy Random is completely random. There's no rhyme or reason to him, whereas on the opposite side, Cassandra Classic creates a game with a steadily increasing difficulty curve. She'll push you with dangerous events, then give you breathing room. Randy may not, or may not do that. In practice, though, they're about the same because Cassandra will hit pretty hard after her period, but after the period when she gets to that point and of difficulty. But he could do that to you right in the beginning, or leave you alone the entire beginning of the map or the beginning of the game and hit you with something hard way later on. It's very he's very random, in other words. And this one's a less hard, a less. She's like Cassandra, but she doesn't hit as nearly as often, so she's an easier one even still. So let's see. We've got difficulty levels here: peaceful, builder, medium, rough, savage. I'll go with rough, actually. Strive to survive on a rough planet. Recommended for players with experience in Rimworld looking to play a rough story requiring skill to survive. Yeah, that way if I die, you know I die. Now you can choose between free loading and saving and what they call commitment mode. Basically, this one gives you one save. It saves when you leave the map, and you can't load unless, you know, you can't load an older save. It's always the most recent one, whereas this one allows me to do that. I'm going to do that for recording purposes. It makes it a little easier to do certain things. So we'll just continue on. And this is the last thing before it will generate the world that we're going to inhabit. We can choose the import company. We can choose the random seed, and it doesn't generate the entire map because that takes time to do that. And so you can tell it to do 30 or 50, or if you want it to do the whole thing, typically just do 30. You don't need the whole map. Overall rainfall and temperature, I will sometimes do this, but most of the time it doesn't matter. So we'll hit generate. And generating. So here's the world. I'm not sure what the actual name of this world is supposed to be, if there ever even is a name. But anyway, as you can see, it generates several, one basic landmass, sometimes two, but you know, decent sized anyway. It covers about a third of the planet, and it goes everywhere from these are deserts of varying temperatures. This is an arid shrubland. This is extreme desert. This is desert. There's also forests, swampland. This is a boreal forest. There's the tropical rainforest. Yeah, all the different, you know, several different types of terrain, or biomes, basically, as the word that they use. So the way that these kind of work out is that desert obviously doesn't get much rain, so water could be a problem. Let's see. Temperate forests tend to be relatively in the middle as far as difficulty. Rainforests are actually pretty difficult because the extreme heat, there's a lot of disease that can make your people sick and die, and that's obviously not very good. And the more north you get, you start getting into tundra and boreal forest, and way up here is ice sheet, or this is sea ice, it says. It's literally just frozen ice, not much else. Yeah, so these are obviously very, very difficult to survive in, but it is possible. I've seen some people do it with some rather extreme measures that I don't personally like to take. The other thing is, you can see there's roads here. There's the various water tiles. These irregular shapes indicate hilly or mountainous terrain. This one, darkest one, is impassable. Then you go into some of these other ones. There's mountainous, and you got these little ones like this. This is small hills. It's all to kind of describe the terrain to you. Now, and then this is flat. There's things to be said about starting flat, but also things to be said about starting in small or large hills. Because if you start in flat, you're going to have all the room to expand in all the directions you want. And you won't be constrained by space all that often. The downside is that it's rather difficult to defend yourself from all angles, and you may not have some of the resources in the form of stone. There's actually very important, stone and steel, very important to have a source of it in your first map, or where you first land. So if you see here, this is the information about the tile that I've selected. And small hills, there's an asphalt road. The stone types in the area are granite and sandstone. It gets down to -8 in the winter, up to 28 degrees Celsius. The growing period's half the year, from the 6th of April to the 6th of September. You get rainfalls. There's things that can be foraged. The animals can graze. Anyway, so this is actually not a bad place. Not a bad looking place to start. I want to start though somewhere with flowing water of some sort. Probably something like this. Because I'd like to take advantage of the added water power generation in one of the either Beta 19 or the Unstable 1.0. I'm not sure which. Let's see, what about over here? Small Hills Creek. Yeah, not much of a creek though. I'm a little close to some enemies there. Well, I guess I won't have to start. I don't have to start in there with the water. Sandstone, granite, and marble. Those are the good ones. Ooh, special features, caves. I think I'll pass on that. Sandstone, marble, and limestone. Okay, we'll start here. Gets a little cold in the winter. We'll have to make sure we make some jackets and stuff so that we can be fine. This you can change some of the advanced settings, and I was thinking about changing the map size, but then again, yeah, well, we'll do it once. There. Alright, so you can see here, this shows you the other factions that are on this world right now. Two of them are neutral to me. The Oranyar Union. Oh dear. The Union. The Southwest Wasforlor. This is a tribe. I'm not going to try and pronounce that word. Sorry. So there's two tribes, a gentle one and a savage one, a pirate band, and an outlander union. And a civil outlander union. So the outlanders are going to be the ones with some of the better technology, the better guns, and they might be the more a bit of a challenge. Tribes will come after you in large numbers, but with bows and clubs and spears and stuff. So they'll come at you with large numbers but low weaponry. Basically, these guys are my neighbors. The red ones are obviously hostile to me. These two are not that hostile, so I could recover the relationships with them if I chose to, and it probably will later. Then there's the pirate band. They're always there. They're always enemies of everybody else, and they're always hostile. I don't think you can even make them happy with you. Anyway, now that we've selected a spot, we'll continue on to selecting the people that we're going to deal with. Let's see. Now, this is kind of similar to Oxygen Not Included's character creation at the beginning. A lot more information going on here. For instance, you can see about their backstory. Jan here was an Rimworld urchin. Ancient and deep industrial cityscapes bursting with humanity and poison. Jan grew up in the dark, unwanted reaches of such a place. He had to fight for every scrap of food. He's got a shooting 2 and a melee +4. +2/+4. So he's actually pretty good at fighting with his hands. Then when he was an adult, he was a drifter. Never found what he wanted to do with his life. He traveled often, taking up casual work wherever he found it. So he's got construction +3, cooking +3, but artistic -4, which is fine. Artistic in the beginning isn't that useful. You can see their traits here. He's trigger happy. That means he will actually shoot faster, but with less accuracy. Jealousy means that it kind of means that if he's got a less impressive bedroom than anybody else, he'll get jealous, and a mood debuff actually. And he's nimble. Let's see. So you've got these basic skills here: shooting, melee, construction, which is building walls, mining, obvious, cooking, obvious, plants means growing and cutting, animals means taming and training animals, crafting means making items, not so much buildings. Artistic is making pieces of art, medical, obviously for treating people, social, dealing with people as they come and go. Intellectual is for research. So this guy has got, it's actually not that bad. He can defend himself somewhat. He's got some good construction and mining, and he's really good with animals. Not so bad at cooking either. Oh, we got a family here going on. Let's see how good some of these other members are. So, a lot of Stengars, female. He was a medical assistant, medical +5, cannot firefight. Okay. That's not so great. Another drifter in adulthood. Tough, hard to kill, psychically sensitive, so there are things like psychic attacks and stuff that will run across, and or psychic soothing beams, things like that, that she'll be more sensitive to than the average person. Now she has some construction again, some animals, medical, social, intellectual. So the individual who's good at social is kind of like the leader of your colony, but you don't necessarily have to start out with one or anybody that's particularly good at it. This could be a good thing because she's got a starting level of 4, but these flames here mean that they've got a burning or a double burning passion for this skill, and that means that they will learn faster. If you don't have a skill, you learn at 35% of the normal crafting rate. If you have a single burning, you do 100%, and if you have 102, you do 150. So I've got another person who's really good with animals. Again, not quite that important in the beginning. The thing is, this is Jan's mother here. Even though the ages are way off. See, that's a lot of this stuff is, like I said, randomly generated. The name, the age. Age is broken down into biological age and chronological age because of the addition of cryptosleep, cryostasis, and stuff. That means that you could be exist for a lot longer than your body aged. That's how they differentiate that. So she's been in existence for 75 years, or he's been in existence for 75 years, but only aged 28. Whereas at 121, aged 35. So it is indeed possible that she had birth and then was put into stasis, and then he was out and lived for a while without, and also went into stasis. Anyway, so there's lots of different things that could go on. You know, I might hang on to this just for the relationship aspect of everything here. So we got a brother and sister and a son, their nephew. Every single one of these is really good at social and not a whole lot else. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to keep this family together. Let's see. Velasquez is, I had to pronounce it right. Is it a veterinarian? Means he's really good at medical and animals. And almost a good intellectual. He's incapable of violence. It means he can't attack at all. If you can avoid having someone like this in your starting group, that's better. Also, someone incapable of doing a lot of different basic things, like incapable of firefighting, is actually kind of bad. Really bad. If I get a really bad fire, this person will do nothing. Incapable of intellectual, social, caring. With the exception of firefighting, none of these is enough to really break a pawn as a possibility if they've got decent stats elsewise, and no, they really don't here. What do we got? Slizard, an ascetic priest. Capable of violent and incapable of social. He's got a chemical fascination. That means he might be more opted to take drugs or do alcohol. But he's ascetic, meaning that he doesn't really mind that much about the bad state of his environs. You know, he's not so concerned about having the best bedroom. Actually, quite the opposite. Vance. The other thing is you want to try and avoid somebody with addictions, especially since ambrosia. I'm not going to have any ambrosia to start with. Alright, so most of these are not... wait a minute. Alright, this one is very young, age 14. A gourmand, meaning that she'll eat more often, but cooks better. She's a masochist, and she's kind. She's got some decent intellectual, good medical. Animals, again, cooking is rather important in the beginning. However, having cooking on my researcher isn't such a great combination. That's, So let's see, for Jan, I want to keep Jan. He's good. He's got construction, mining, and he's got some cooking too, so it wouldn't be that bad. He's got a frostbite scar on his middle left toe. Sometimes it's hard to find duplicates that are just frankly capable. Teetotaler means he won't do any... He doesn't like to do alcohol. He's too smart. And he's ascetic. Simon should probably stay in here too. If for nothing else, because he is capable of everything. He's not incapable of anything, is the better way to put it. He's got solid construction. Well, let's see. So we got to drag people up here. I want to randomize. So we'll randomize. Wimp isn't good though. Incapable of plant work. No. Next. A little too old. And lazy isn't good. I don't need artistic or social at the beginning. Really. Transhumanist, psychopath, psychically deaf. Again, underage. If I manage to live, I think it's at 16 they become adults and would gain another backstory. But at this moment, this individual's young. Not bad. Aha, this looks good. Plants. Someone who's very good with plants. Growing is going to be important. Construction and crafting is solid. Guy Vogel, huh? If you look here, I've got an overview of all of this. So I need someone potentially good at shooting. Already got some decent melee and medical if I can get it. So let's just randomize. Medieval lordling, Glitterworld officer. Nope. Social artistic cooking. Stalwart farmer. Would have an astonishing plants. Did I not already get that? Yeah, I already got that. Sorry. You were good, dude, but you already have one for you. Shooting. Here we go. Here we go. Night owl, neurotic. Ooh. And kind. Incapable of artistic. I do not mind. Alright, so now I think we've got our starting people, so let's give it some names here. I don't like Guy Vogel. We'll give this person the nickname, or their first name for the nickname. So we got Jan, Elal, Ella. Let's not take Elal here. Ella and Lynn. And we'll start with this. So we're finally starting here. See, that's quite a bit to get started. Yeah. You can, if you know and don't have to explain everything, generation takes a lot quicker than that. The three of you awake in your cryptosleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping. Oh, we've already read that. So first thing you do, you crash land. As soon as you pop out, you pause the game. Always the first thing you do in Rimworld. So, actually, because of the time that it is taking me, I will leave it here as an episode 0 for this. And so let's go on, just skip right ahead to number 2. So watch the next video, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.